You guys, the ultimate fail that I felt when I realized that my phone was still connected to my Bluetooth earbuds. So none of the channeled messages that I was putting out there were being recorded. But here we go. Holy Spirit, angels, ancestors of the highest and purest divine light, I welcome you here into the sacred space with me and the collective. Please show us clear and accurate and precise messages that the collective are wondering about. What do they need to know, not what they want to know. Thank you for all that you are, all that you do, all that you have done, and all that you will do. And I say this with so much gratitude. Ashe. Holy Spirit, what messages do you have for the collective at this time, please? Thank you. Ten of Pentacles reversed. Eight of Wands. The Empress reversed. The Emperor. What else? The Ten of Wands. The Magician. The Seven of Pentacles reversed, and the Knight of Wands. So this is giving practically the same energy that I was channeling earlier when I was trying to record the first time. There's a lot of my loves, my friends in the collective who are dealing with, dare I say, ancestral healing work. Oh, I kind of chill. And what I mean by that is there are a lot of people in my collective who are generational curse breakers. And I know. Because, they're like, I hear people say that often, like super often. But what a lot of people fail to communicate is that many are called and few are chosen. And so I could be very well speaking to someone, and again, I'm not attacking anyone. This is what, if you resonate with this energy, is what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, okay, my friend? Right? I am not that kind of friend. I will tell you exactly what you need to know and not what you want to know, or not just what you want to know, okay? I feel like my friends in the collective need to know or need to hear at this time is that, I could be talking to someone who has been called to do the ancestral healing work in their family line, to be a generational curse breaker, but may feel either uncertain or unprepared about the entire process, what it entails, and, basically what does that mean for you? A lot of times when people find themselves partaking in the blessing of being the generational curse breaker is that, they do go through burdens. They do go through hardship. And it's not in vain. It's not in spite. It's not an attack from God. It's to build character. It's to provide clarity on the role that you play in your family. It's to put you in a spot where you do the healing work. You come to realize that as much good as you do for your family line, you can't be of service to anyone else if you're not of service to yourself. So this involves a lot of spiritual work, or what we call shadow work in the spiritual community. This invites us to look inward so that we can be a role model for our loved ones, whether it's family, friends, your dog, your bunny, whoever. Answering the call of the generational curse breaker is a blessing, and at times it may feel like it's in disguise, but in the long run, you will. Just trust the process. But specifically, what I'm picking up on is family disputes. There may be some financial constraints or conflicts over money. This could be some of my friends in the collective who are breaking through traditions. You know, there's been a certain way that you've been carrying yourself, or certain things that have been carried out from generation to generation. And you may even be starting to see that these patterns just don't work. You know, like there's no growth from continuing these habits. There's no growth from continuing these habits over the years. You may be the kind of person where you pick up on some kind of family trait or some kind of habit where it could be like me, where you know, you come from a small town and you notice that the majority of the people in your family have been stuck in the same small town for years and years, from generation to generation. And you could be the kind of person where you're thinking to yourself, there has to be more than this. You know, like there has to be more to my story. I know that this isn't it, that there's more out there in the world for me. And so you could either be considering relocation, you could be relocating, or you could have already relocated and could be wondering, what's next for me now? This is uncharted territory. You know, like, how, you know, I want the best for my family unit. How do I incite these changes if not everybody is on the same page? Not everybody is going to be on the same page. A lot of times when you find yourself in the role of the generational curse breaker, there are often situations you find yourself in conflict with your family because not everyone is going to be on the same page. If anything, you would find yourself on a completely different level of spiritual growth and healing from the other person. So when you try to break things down or communicate, when you try to communicate like behavioral patterns or traits, the other person may not be ready or willing to receive that. So again, answering the call, it's no easy feat. It's an honor. It is, because you've already demonstrated that you can handle that weight, that you have been entrusted to do the healing work and to try to heal and uplift others. And whether or not they join you on that healing journey, everybody has the right to choose. It's everybody's divine birthright. It's choice. Decision making. And not everybody is going to answer that call, and you've got to be okay with that. It may be hard in the beginning, but in time, you will learn to be okay with people not being okay with your personal growth journey, or you know, you trying to heal the ancestral wounds in your family line. So there could be some conflict or sudden changes from answering this call. You could be distancing yourself from the family disputes, or you could be moving away from some kind of, I'm also getting bankruptcy too. So there's some of you in the collective who are dealing with financial instability at this time. But some of you are going to get a call, or some of you are going to have to make some quick decisions, make some changes to turn this energy around. But there will be quick movement. The Emperor, it's interesting seeing the Empress and the Emperor right next to each other. But with the Empress reversed, this is someone who is not recognizing their worth, someone who may be feeling insecure, or this could represent a mother figure or a feminine figure in your life who is prominent influence in your life. This could be a mother and father pairing here. But, you know, masculine and feminine energies can be flipped. And they could be reversed. So you can have a man who is masculine, a woman who is feminine, or you can have, you know, like the mother figure who is a little bit more masculine than the father. The father takes on a more feminine or more soft role. Someone who is more emotionally receptive. So take that how that resonates. But there is one prominent person in your life, specifically a feminine figure who, you know, may come off as overbearing or smothering, someone who could possibly project their failures onto you, or puts a lot of expectation on you, to where they want you to fulfill their goals, their dreams, and their ambitions, where the other person, you know, encourages you to have that discipline, to have structure, to take control over your life. And this could be the other person who genuinely, I feel like both genuinely want the best for you, but one person, you know, in putting such a heavy load on you where they project their failures or insecurity onto you, I don't think this person realizes just how overbearing or overwhelming this can be for you. Because we have the Ten of Swords right next to both the Empress and the Emperor, where there's a heavy burden that is being carried. And I strongly feel like the majority of these burdens are not your own. This is what I feel like is you holding on to or carrying things forward out of the feeling of obligation, like you are obligated to do this, like you have to do it. And there's a lot of you who could be feeling burnt out from carrying such a heavy burden, the burden of everyone else. So it's like I'm seeing the person who is carrying all of these wands, and or not even, it starts off with one wand and then another one, like people placing all of these burdens into your hand because they think that you don't mind, but you mind. And there's not a lot of swords energy out here, but the Nine of Swords, where this is fear and anxiety. This is internalized, you know, like speech, negative thoughts, negative self-belief. We're going to get back to that. But with the Magician, you know, here, and the Ten of Wands, is like offering to carry another person's burden is becoming your own burden. You know, what I channeled earlier was someone who is okay with going with the okie doke. And if you're feeling overwhelmed by carrying other people's burdens, you're going to have to communicate those boundaries. You're going to have to communicate what you're okay with and what you're not okay with. And that's healthy. It may seem selfish at first, but it's really healthy. It limits the likelihood or lessens the likelihood of people who, you know, are coming in intentionally to take advantage of you. Sorry, my eyelash is doing something crazy, y'all. But yeah, like it potentially limits accessibility of people who are going to willingly take advantage of you versus people who, there's like a difference between people who knowingly put all of these burdens on you versus people who genuinely just don't know. But at the end of the day, it's about you being able to communicate those boundaries and let other people know what you're okay with and what you're not okay with. You know, if you already have too many things to deal with of your own that are on your plate, you need to communicate that. But if you have the time, if you are available, if you are, nothing in this life is free. Nothing in this life is free. But if you have the time, if you have the energy, if you have the resources to where you can extend yourself to help someone in need, then you can communicate that. You can do that. But with the magician here, this is you utilizing your willpower. But at the moment, I'm feeling like it's almost misguided willpower. Instead of the collective feeling like their situation is improving, it's improving. But whose life is it improving? Is it improving your life, or is it improving the other person or other persons? Because this spread is strongly indicating that you're improving the life of others, but not your own, whether consciously or subconsciously. With the Seven of Pentacles, there's like a hint of procrastination, where instead of investing in yourself or pouring back into yourself, this is you utilizing your energy and your resources to appease other people. So, you know, I'm picking up on someone who can come off as like a people pleaser, or someone who goes ahead and says yes just for the sake of peace, you know. But is it really giving you peace? Because with the Nine of Swords here, this is someone up in the wee hours of the night, or in their head all throughout the day, over questioning, overthinking every move, every interaction, every word, every intention. And with the Seven of Pentacles reverse is because this person doesn't even know what they want to do for themselves or even with themselves. And I'm not saying this in a condemning kind of way. I know it can come off as like that, but that's not the intention. The intention is to convey these messages as I'm seeing them, because collective, it's looking like for far too long you have been giving your power away to the wrong situations, the wrong kind of people, instead of turning that energy back around and focusing on yourself. So this is where the energy of depletion or burden, burnout, stress, even power struggles come in, because instead of using that energy for yourself, you're trying to meet other people where they're not willing to meet you. Any closing messages for the collective, Holy Spirit? What do you need them to know? What do you need the collective to know, Holy Spirit? The Wheel of Fortune. There's changes that are about to come in. Could be regarding your finances or your sense of security. The Knight of Wands. But this comes in when you're in this more courageous energy, in a sense where you kind of rebel against these expectations that have been put on you. And then with the Ace of Wands, this is sudden inspiration or new creative spark, new passion, a new passionate opportunity that's coming in. Whether or not you take advantage of that is 100% up to you. No one is stopping you but you. When you find the common denominator for every opportunity that you have had in your life that you let slip by you, chances are it is you who is getting in the way of yourself. You know, it's easy to sit there and place the blame on everyone else and everything external to us, but the common denominator in most cases is going to be ourselves, especially when we haven't established that sense of trust with ourselves. You know, we can go out and, you know, say that we trust other people all day long, that we trust ourselves all day long, but if we're not trusting in the right people, ultimately that is a reflection on ourselves. Which indicates that there's some more healing work that needs to be done. And everybody is on a constant healing journey, but everybody is on different levels to this healing journey. I'm just saying, my friends, I love you. All right, I think these are all of the 2 more cards wanted to pop out. So this, in a sense, can be positive. With the 3 of Pentacles, the Judgment card, and then the Sun, you have the opportunity to turn this situation around just by centering yourself in the midst of all of these decisions that you make. And this can be a collaborative effort with other people. I don't know if you need counseling. I don't know if you need a financial advisor, if you need a lawyer, if you're dealing with some kind of legal situation here. But when you center yourself in these decision-making processes, you will find that ultimately your life can become a lot more blissful. All right, my friends, these are all of the messages that I have at this time. If you're looking for more in-depth messages, you can find me on Patreon at the Cosmic Sanctuary. You can also find me on Instagram and X and Threads under the Cosmic Sanctuary. I will leave the links in the description box below. Let me know how this message resonated with you. I hope that it did. I hope that it provided some clarity and insight into your situation. That if you haven't started your healing journey already, it initiated you on your healing journey. I encourage you to continue to do for you. Not just do for others, but do what is healing, what feels true to you. And as always, my friends, I send you off with so much love, peace, clarity, positivity, abundance, optimism, prosperity, good luck, good health, wealth, all of that. And I will catch you in the next one. Bye.